What's going on, everybody? Wake up. Wake up. This is an early live stream. Or at least people on the West Coast. It's 9:30 Eastern. What's going on? So, yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. LFG. Yeah, let's go. So, yeah, it's been like a week since I went live, right? So, I just wanted to talk about things that I went over in recent videos. Especially this one. So these last two videos, but especially this one, I started looking into some things, and one thing led to another, and then it led to another, and then it led to another. Really? No audio? No, there's audio. I have my live stream on. Yeah, it's probably at your end, dude. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's but yeah, so the gist of it is that I was like surprised when I started comparing Bitcoin to relative to gold, right? So usually we look at this chart and we say, okay, we're looking at Bitcoin's price relative to USD, but if you look at it relative to gold, and I came to the conclusion that Bitcoin hasn't really changed in value at all. I mean, it's really been in the bear market. So I was looking at, like I said, it was one thing that led to another, that led to another, that led to another. So we're talking about PMI recently, right? ISM manufacturing PMI. And we've been noticing that we've been in pretty much in a bear market. The economy itself has been in the bear market, right? Trending sideways, right? Because it's not trading, right? These are just economic indicators, right? And employment, new orders, manufacturing, and so on. And I went back because typically I only looked at this chart, like historically, I only looked at this chart relative to where is it here? And where's the indicator right here? Yeah, it's right here. So when you overlay this on Bitcoin, you only go as far back as Bitcoin. So then I was like, okay, Jesus Christ, we've never been, at least in my adult life, right? Because I was a kid back here, right? Because this chart goes back to 1990. And for some people in my group who are like in their 20s right now, for their entire life, right? We have never seen a sustained economic period where we're just trending sideways in terms of the economy. So then I was like, well, wait a minute. I started thinking about prices, and I always say all the time to everybody that prices of everything, no matter what it is, are almost double what they were before the pandemic. So going back to 2020, I gave an example because I was talking about like a hot water heater. So I gave an example of I really don't remember what the price is right now, but an $800 job could turn into like $1,500 right now or something like that. Because I have like an old hot water heater in this house, but this house hasn't had that much usage until now. So I'm here like 70% of the year now, or was the opposite while I was down in the Gulf Coast most of the time in previous years. So I'm thinking of things that need to be repaired and so on. And I'm like, everything I look around, everything costs like double. So, and that's just because inflation of the US dollar, right? So then I went back and I started looking at, I was like, historically gold is relatively flat. There is inflation in gold, but there's very little. I mean, you have these few anomalies, like a few weeks ago, you had a whole bunch of zombies lining up to buy gold at high prices, right? You should never buy the top, especially gold. You can buy Bitcoin at the top and then wait like 4 years and it'll all work out. But buying gold at the top is ridiculous. Everybody's buying it. But relatively speaking, gold just stays flat over the course, not only of your lifetime, but over the course of 1,000 years, right? Because I remember really stood out. I did this, epic high effort video in 2022 related to gold. And so I really studied gold a lot. And I found out that, like the comparison is that a really nice men's suit might have cost an ounce of gold 1,000 years ago. And then Yeah, obviously depending on the brand and, you know, things like that, you know, it might cost a really nice, really nice men's suit might cost an ounce of gold today. So it's like, holy shit, you know, even if you can buy like 5 men's suits, relative to what you might have spent on it 1,000 years ago, that, you know, still, that's pretty damn good. Over 1,000 years, right? It would probably cost like $1 trillion in USD to buy a men's suit in 1,000 years. Obviously, USD is not going to be around that long, but I'm just saying. So then I was like, okay. What I did was, let me get rid of this indicator for now. And I went here and I said, okay, let me compare Bitcoin's top. Let's go to the monthly candles, make it easier. So I said, let's compare Bitcoin's top from last cycle to this cycle, right? And this is where I get over to Kaspa, right? So then I was like, okay, the top is here. And then the absolute top of this particular cycle, right, is, you know, is this in gold, but it's only an increase of 9%. Like it only, from top to top, from last cycle to this cycle, it only increased from 9%. And obviously now it's going down because of other factors, right? We have a unique situation right now for the first time in history that all holders, especially long-term holders, are selling, and short-term holders are selling at a loss simply because they believe a 12-year bear market is coming. When all other factors and everything out there, everything is bullish, everything could indicate that we should go up, they're selling, right? And they're causing a bear market. But that's another story. So then it was like, okay, I overlaid the PMI, and I was like, with relative to gold, and Bitcoin no longer looks like it's going up. Bitcoin is just going sideways because Bitcoin has never increased in value, right? It only increased in USD because of, you know, there's certain hype around a crypto-friendly government. We have the ETFs and we have institutional buy-in, things that we didn't have last cycle. So if you make it relative to USD, you would start to think, you know, like, why is it going up? Why is it going up this cycle, even though the economy is in its bear market for 4 years? But it's really not. The value, the purchasing power of Bitcoin is staying the same. All right. Well, now it's down, obviously, because what am I typing here? Right. What did am I losing my mind? BTC XAU. Oh, okay. I don't know. Brain fart. Anyway, so, you know, it's the actual value of Bitcoin. What could Bitcoin buy? The purchasing power. So it's like, let's say you had like $800 worth of Bitcoin in your Coinbase account in 2020. And going back to the hot water heater example, I might have been able to use that Bitcoin, just cash it out to buy a hot water heater, right? And let's say I never touched my Bitcoin in my Coinbase account in 2020. I never withdrew anything, and I've never added any more money into it, right? And then I go forward to this year, and that same amount of money that I could use that Bitcoin on, so I cash out the Bitcoin, and then, you know, I'm able to buy a hot water heater, you know, so it's like the same value and purchasing power of Bitcoin. So then I'm like, okay, if Bitcoin is not increasing in value, then we probably have a problem here when it comes to the mining of Bitcoin, right? So what's up? Yeah, good morning, everyone. Let me get to these comments. What's up? Happy Friday. What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, within the next decade. Yeah, I want to get to that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, this is the reason. When Bitcoin closes 2 weeks below the 50-week moving average, it implies there's a bear market. So it did that for 2 reasons in the month of November. In the end of October, Powell came out and removed the certainty that the market had about the upcoming rate cut in December. He said it's probably not going to happen. So because the market already priced in rate cut for December, it had to have a correction, so it went down. And then the government shutdown sucked liquidity out of the market. So Bitcoin was trapped. Crypto was trapped. No liquidity, a correction based on the removal of certainty, and Bitcoin went down, closed below the 50-week moving average. So, and then obviously there's a lot of 4-year cycle zombies out there that say, okay, Bitcoin closes below the 50-week moving average, let me start selling. And then it closes again below the 50-week moving average, and then more people start selling. And then it closes, and it's like, okay, these people don't want to be in a bear market, and then they start selling and they cause the bear market. So that's the problem here. So, and essentially, like I've been saying, when it comes to PMI, we've been in a bear market for 4 years. I mean, Bitcoin, if not for the institutional buy-in, if not for the government's buying in as well, now like got Texas and so on, if not for the ETFs and if not for the hype around the crypto-friendly administration, Bitcoin probably would have been around 20K this whole time. It would have been the worst bear market ever. 4 years of Bitcoin barely even breaking through 30K in USD, right? So Bitcoin's price has been adjusted because of that. So it's not down. Well, now it is because everybody's selling like mad, but it stayed relatively flat when you compare it to gold. And then I'm like, okay, Bitcoin itself needs to increase in value. It needs to increase in value in order to become profitable for miners, right? So Bitcoin's profitability fell for the 4th consecutive month. This is why it was like one thing led to another, led to another. And I'm like, holy crap. The mining fell in profitability for 4 consecutive months. This takes us back to like July, August, right? But Bitcoin was raising in price relative to USD. It was raising in price going right straight through September and then the beginning of October. So even though Bitcoin was rising in price, it was still losing profitability for miners. Like that's like insane. That goes to show you that the demise of Bitcoin is probably much closer than we probably ever imagined. Because as we compare it relative to gold, we see that Bitcoin's purchasing power has stayed constant pretty much throughout this cycle, with exception of the last 3 weeks. And even though Bitcoin's purchasing power has stayed constant, it's still becoming worth less for miners. Not worthless, but becoming worth less money and to mine. That is crazy. So that obviously implies that Bitcoin needs to increase in price dramatically throughout the cycles, because over the last 4 years, Bitcoin's value has remained constant relative to gold and just purchasing power in general. It has a problem. So, I mean, like, yeah, we might get this massive, gigantic run up, like a top, probably at some point in 2027, give or take, in and around 2027, and that will correct itself and mining will become profitable again. But how many more cycles do we need to get through before this just happens indefinitely, to the point where you encounter the law of diminishing returns, where every cycle, it's not going to be multiplying by factors of 100 anymore, or even factors of 2 for that matter. Where the value of Bitcoin might not even do a 2x at some point. Which we've just seen, right? Compared relative to gold, it only went up 9% from 2021 to the top of this cycle. When you compare it relative to gold, it only went up 9%. Now it's not profitable anymore. So it's crazy. That makes me think that Kaspa's time to shine is probably closer than we think. And it's not only that, and you think about what happened. So there was one guy who made a comment. There was one guy who made a comment on this video here. And you try to make a point. He's basically, he says, so keep in mind that the price not being worth it makes less miners mine, right? But it will make the price more attractive and less. So what he's trying to say is that less companies will be mining Bitcoin, or less people in general, right? So there's two problems with that right there. The first problem, and the obvious problem, is that now you have the smaller peoples, like the people who have a bunch of miners in their house, they're going out of business, right? So now only the larger companies with like warehouses of miners are the only ones that are going to stay around. So that you're losing the decentralization then. That you end up with the same problem as Bitcoin Cash. Now, Bitcoin Cash was created to solve the problem with Bitcoin being too slow. But what happened with Bitcoin Cash, from my understanding, it's been a long time since I've looked into it. Maybe I'll just do a deep dive into sometime, I don't know, this week, just to refresh myself. But when I remember, there's like, in terms of storage space, there's a block of Bitcoin that's like 1 megabyte. And what they did with Bitcoin Cash, they multiplied it and they made the like block size larger. They went up to 32 megabytes, and then they went to 64, and they went up to like 128. But the problem is that when they did that, the file size, the storage space required to host a node of Bitcoin Cash became dramatic, multiplied by 128. So now the average person and the average computer cannot run a Bitcoin Cash node. So then you lost decentralization, right? So you lost the decentralization. So Bitcoin Cash is like really fast, like hands down, it's like way faster than Bitcoin. But you lose the decentralization because only a handful of people with these, high-powered servers, very expensive servers, can run Bitcoin Cash. So if you're knocking out the smaller guy, then you're losing decentralization. So now, not only is Bitcoin not scalable, now it's going to come to a point where it's no longer decentralized, and then it loses less appeal. And then as more and more companies, the smaller companies that have warehouses of miners, just give up and it becomes less profitable, that's going to hit the news. And we're like, what do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? It's going to go all over the place that this particular company closed down their warehouse of miners because Bitcoin is no longer profitable. When that happens, is you're not going to have to deal with the problem of being decentralized anymore. Like, okay, there's going to only be a handful of large companies that have factories of miners mining Bitcoin. It's going to just collapse. Everybody is going to take their money out of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's value would just become worthless overnight. The entire crypto market would crash. It will probably be the biggest crash that the crypto market has ever seen, right? And then we'd have a problem for like that particular year, whenever it does happen, if it's 15 years from now, whenever. And we're probably going to have a problem where, the market is going to shift into something else. And it's probably not going to be good Bitcoin Cash because it's going to have the same decentralization problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now, when it comes to short term, when it comes to in the grand scheme of things, if I'm saying like 10, 15 years, I guess 2 years is still very short term, right? So we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 years. I doubt it. I think we're going to have a really massive rally in 2027. We're going to see this cycle stop, and we're going to realize that it's a 6-year cycle. First, what we got to do is this PMI chart right here. We're going to have to see it. We're going to have to see it like start going up. We're going to have to see it start going up. And then there'll be a delay, like a lag of Bitcoin going, following the same way it happened over here. So like this, PMI goes up, the economy is expanding, and then like these are monthly candles, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you start realizing it 5, 6 months later that we're flying. So, but this hasn't happened yet. Oops, right? So this hasn't happened yet, and it's probably not going to happen until like mid next year. Early to mid next year, which then if you add 6 months to whenever this starts happening, we're going to get them to like the end of 2026, maybe early 2027. So this cycle top, more than likely going to be in 2027. I bet my money on the top being in 2027 rather than 2026. And if anything happens, it could be as far out as late 2027 or, even early 2028, because the economy itself is in its bear market and it's still not going up yet. But it's going to go up because we just ended QT. Interest rates are coming down. So it's going to go up. It's a matter of months at this point. Oh, Bitcoin's so Kaspa, and then so this is USD. Let me get rid of the PMI. So can you do that? No, I don't think you can do that. Let me add this here if I can. No, I don't know. If there's a way to do it, I don't know. Kaspa is relative to gold. I don't know. What did I just do? Yeah. I haven't thought about that. That's interesting. But I'm sure Kaspa's just going down. You know that. Kaspa's just been going down like crazy. So, you guys know how to do that. Shoot me a message, or if not, I'll just try to figure out later. The Dow, the Nasdaq compared relative to gold. Can we do that? Yeah. Okay. So let's say QQQ. Yeah, I don't know. How do you do that? I don't know. It's only been recently that I've actually been experimenting with actually doing that, just because I try to figure out how to do Bitcoin to gold. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be like I'll have to try to figure it out. Interesting thought, though. Yeah, a very interesting thought. But I don't think so, because I think if how do you, let me say, so BTC, you say relative to, is that possible? Yeah, that should be the trick. Let's do that. Let's say this is Bitcoin relative to what is QQQ, which is a tech heavy stocks, and the Nasdaq. So this is so if you can do this, what did you just say? Let's try the Kaspa one first. So Kaspa relative to, let's say, does that work? Okay, this is Kaspa relative to QQQ. So if we can do that, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never actually done this before. So if we do that, so XAU, is that possible? Yeah, this is it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, as you can see, it's going. Kaspa's been underperforming, definitely. Then pretty much almost everything, right? Kaspa's been underperforming, no matter what, no matter which way you look at it. So Kaspa's value going down over time. Obviously, if Kaspa's purchasing power was staying constant, then its value would be going up in USD. So if it's been, if it was 12 cents or even 20 cents last year at all-time high, it should be somewhere around 20 cents right now if it was remaining constant in terms of purchasing power, or at least a little bit more in terms of USD. Yeah, interesting thought. Never thought about that. Maybe I'll play around with some more. But so what else did you say here? It said yeah. So NASDAQ relative to gold. So QQQ. Let's see how this works out. So yeah, so NASDAQ is underperforming gold. Or I mean, it's this. So if you go back, this is 2021, right around here, and I don't know when we want to. Let's say it's 2022, December 2021. So if we take this right here, I mean, we're down right now, down 37%. So yeah, I mean, we're in our bear market, right? So the economy itself. So yeah, interesting thoughts. What else we got? Yeah, I mean, it's just this thing. So it's like, at what point is this problem? At what point is this going to happen? You know, it's probably not going to happen this cycle. If this is a 6-year cycle, Bitcoin's value is going to increase dramatically, probably, you know, in 2027, give or take. But then what's going to happen next cycle? You know, what's going to happen with the bear market next time around in 2028, 2029? It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a big problem. I think, you know, when we get close to that date, probably want to cash out well in advance, and then the entire crypto market crashes, and you just buy back in really low and buy into Kaspa. But by the time this happens, let's say 10 years out, Kaspa is already probably like over $10, $20, or whatever it is. Kaspa is probably going to be much bigger in terms of total market cap 10 years from now. And if it crashes by 90% with the fall of Bitcoin, right? Kaspa will go from $20 down to 20 cents, like all over again. Like everything would just go down. It would be like a catastrophic crash once everybody realizes that Bitcoin is no longer able to function, from that matter. I mean, if there's no more miners, if miners are closing up shop, then they're just no longer able to function. So everybody's going to get out. It's going to happen rapidly. This is Michael Saylor right here, which I find it strange. So Michael Saylor says it will be worth the market cap size of Bitcoin will be worth 20 trillion in 48 years. 20 trillion in 48 years. Maybe, right? Maybe it will increase that like 10x in 8 years. Maybe, but then he's talking about 200 trillion in 20 years, which, like, it goes back to the topic of this particular live stream. Like, it's crazy. I completely doubt that it's gonna. I totally doubt it's gonna make it to 20 years. Let's see what he says.
Bitcoin represents digital capital. That network is $2 trillion today. It's going to be $20 trillion in 4 to 8 years. It's going to be $200 trillion in 20 years. Then it's going to grow faster than every other asset in the world. It's going to continue to grow. The United States should own it.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, it will be worth that much if Bitcoin was scalable. And it's not. So what else is scalable, right? What else is, you got to figure it out. Yeah, short positions ahead. So yeah, it's a question of what's going to happen. Because going back to all the falling prices right now, we have all these long-term holders that just don't stop selling over the last few weeks, and short-term holders, right? Usually they aggressively sell when Bitcoin's price is going up. You can see their supply going down because they're selling, right? Same here. Bitcoin's price is rallying and their supply is going down because they're selling, and they accumulate in the bear. And it's always been this way. You know, there's a rally, they sell, but now it's a completely different story. And it's not only long-term holders, because you can see short-term holders are selling too, and most of them are in loss. They're selling in loss. They're selling because their favorite YouTuber is telling them that we're going to be in a bear market for the next 12 months, and Bitcoin is going to go down to 30K. And it is kind of nuts, because it's like I was just saying before, there's the only reason why Bitcoin went below the 50-week moving average was two things. Because Powell removed certainty about the interest rate cut in the end of October for the cut in November, for the cut in December, and the government shutdown just sucked the liquidity out of the market. So we just had no choice. That what is it going to do? It's going to go down. And so it went down. Now everybody's like, oh no, we crossed below the 50-week moving average. What are we going to do? Let's sell. So they start selling, even though we just ended QT, even though that now the probability of an interest rate cut is back up, right? You know, they're selling. Oh yeah, look at the PCE. Let's see if we get good news or bad news. PCE. This is the Fed's preferred inflation metric. So PCE year over year came in at 2.8%, and expected was 2.9. So it's like, that's more good news. Inflation is going down. It's I mean, actually pretty damn good news. So yeah, I mean, this is excellent. Just came in. So this is 10 a.m. and for me it's 10:03. So it just came in 3 minutes ago. Month over month PCE was expected as 0.2%, and year over year PCE is 2.8 as opposed to 2.9. So it's this is like much better than expected. Now there's no reason for the Fed to not cut interest rates. So let's see if this changed, or I don't know if the Fed rate monitor is going to update that fast, but we'll see. Yeah, it's still at 82, so it didn't update. It didn't update yet. I'm assuming that's going to jump up at least a few more percentage points for the odds of a rate cut. So, yeah, there's nothing but bullish news with these people. These people right here, they are selling at a loss, and they just don't stop selling because their favorite YouTuber, like Ben Cohen and stuff like, you know, people like that, these TA guys are saying that we're heading into a bear market for the next 12 months, and they want to sell now at 90K because they believe that Bitcoin is going to go to 30K. The only way that happened, that something like that is going to happen, if there's a black swan event, something completely unexpected, like a war, something like that. That's the only way something like that is going to happen. But it's not going to happen now. It's like we just ended QT. The banks are screaming for liquidity from the Fed. You know, they're going to start injecting liquidity into the banks. We're gonna get an interest rate cut. We just had an excellent reading for inflation just like 3 minutes ago. It's like, we're not going to go down to 30K Bitcoin. I just don't like, and it's not financial advice, of course. I gotta make sure I have to mention that. Punch you guys in the balls if you think this is financial advice. You know what I'm saying? What I'm just saying is, like, who in their right mind believes we're going to be in the bear market for the next 12 months, and it's going to be, Bitcoin is going to keep on going down to 30K over the course of next year? It's like, who in their right mind believes that? I mean, like, the PMI is going to freaking start going up. Because go back to BCT relative to the USD. So, I mean, we're going to start going up, man. Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is just going to explode. It's going to start going. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, who the hell in their right mind? But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And I think that the ones who are selling now are going to be this cycle's biggest losers, because we're gonna go up. Let's go to the 50-week SMA. All right, this is Bitcoin over the monthly. Let's go to weekly. And I think what's going to happen, the 50-week moving average is still going to trend downward because we're down. And where's the path? No, the path is right here, right? So we're going to hit like here, and people are going to keep selling. Oops. Oh man, that's cumbersome. Anyway, we're going to hit, it's probably going to go like that, and then we're going to break through. And then we might go up, but yeah, let me draw this thing again. But yeah, I mean it'll be, I mean it'll be something like this. It's like because we're probably gonna go up again, and these 4-year cycle zombies are not going to let it happen. We're not going to break above the 50-week moving average, and they're going to dump again because they're waiting for that, right? They're like, okay, we're going to get a dead cat bounce, so let me just sell when we get that, right? And they're going to cause a dead cat bounce. They're expecting it, and they're going to cause it. And then Bitcoin is going to go back down again. And it's going to be like this battle of trying to get above the 50-week moving average. Now, when we actually get above it, it could actually be when the interest rate cut happens, or it could be like weeks and weeks and weeks down the road. The reason why I'm skeptical that it will happen on December 10th, when the interest rate cut actually happens, is because the market is already pricing in the interest rate cut. So once we get it, it will be like, okay, we're already priced in. So I don't think it's going to be that spectacular. But I hope we do get above it. I mean, I hope we do get above it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, that would be nice. If long-term holders of Bitcoin are rotating into Kaspa, that would be nice. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that $57 is just like, clickbaiting, because the point is that 10 years down the road, Kaspa is going to be in the tens of dollars, right? Or perhaps even over $100. And you also have to compare relative to the inflation of USD. I mean, it could be, like I'm saying, in USD, everything around me, hot water heaters, sofas and food or whatever, everything seems like it costs double compared to what it cost like 5 years ago in the USD. So if we have that same double in effect 10 years from now, I don't think we're going to get that much inflation, not like we did in 2022. But if the cost of everything doubles, then we might be looking, okay, we're expecting a $50 Kaspa in 10 years, but it might actually be $100 just because of inflation of USD. So is that, were you asking about what I just explained about why the 57? Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, I'm not talking about $57 in like 2 years. Like, even if we do have a cycle top in 2027, like a massive crypto cycle top to end a 6-year cycle in 2027. No, I'm talking about like 5, 7, 8, 10 years from now, and then get to a point where, where this whole thing. The whole point of this live stream is describe how Bitcoin is becoming unfeasible. So yeah, going back to what I was just describing with, what's going to happen over the next few weeks. So a lot of short positions build ahead of the Fed potential interest rate cut. So roughly 3 billion in shorts. Risk liquidation of Bitcoin rises 3% to 96K, while 3.5 billion in longs will be wiped out on a dip of 4.5% to 89K per coin glass. Yeah. So yeah, there's different people betting on different things. A lot of people are bearish. So they're betting on the idea that Bitcoin is going to drop, and a lot of people are bullish, and they're betting on the idea that Bitcoin is going to go up. But I think it's just going to be a struggle over the next few weeks to get above that 50-week moving average. Hopefully it happens the day of the interest rate cut, but we'd have to expect that it won't. Oh yeah, I was looking at this. You guys are into meme coins. I had this meme coin I got over a year ago, and you know, obviously it went down in value like everything else. But Fefe, there was a lot of hype over this thing about a year ago, and I saw yesterday that. Let me see. Go to the weekly. Yeah, look at that. Look at that pump. I saw yesterday this is pumping like crazy. Obviously, this chart is weird. There's some whale buying and selling or something, but I was like, I wonder when meme season is gonna come back, right? Because this thing is still active. There are so many meme coins out there that are still very active. You see, they're posting. They're posting. They haven't disappeared. And they got 3 centralized exchanges. So they're not like a piece of crap. They have, you know, like a few sketchy centralized exchanges, but I mean, they have some centralized exchanges. So there's a lot of meme coins out there that are like 200K market cap. And if these guys, you know, I don't know about this coin in particular, obviously nothing is financial advice. Like I tell you, you know, like don't think this is financial advice, you know? Are you out of your mind? Nothing is financial advice, but you know, in general, I'm using this as an example, but in general, there are a lot of memes out there. Their devs are honest, and sometimes they're doxxed, and they're still working hard, but the market cap of a lot of these memes are like insanely low. So if they keep at it, and they endure for the next year and a half to get to our cycle top that we should have, you know, let's say 2027. A lot of people are saying 2026, but I don't see how it's possible because there's a lag in how liquidity flows into the crypto market when the business cycle pumps. But anyways, if the devs endure, there could be cases where you find like a meme coin is 200K and then it's like 200 million at the top of the cycle. Because last cycle, there were cases, especially with a lot of the Inu coins, where they were like flat. Then out of nowhere, they pumped to like 1 billion in the top of the cycle, last cycle. Like they're trading at like 100K or even 1 million. And out of nowhere, within a month, they're at 1 billion. These like Akita Inu, another one is like Kishu Inu, if you want to look them up. They just exploded out of nowhere. So I think a lot of memes are going to do that this cycle, and especially I think Matt Fury is a narrative that's going to gain a lot of hype, like the Inus from last cycle. But in general, yeah, I mean, I was so Kaspa is a good play. Obviously, this live stream is really about Bitcoin and Kaspa, but I mean, others, I think don't fade Litecoin. Litecoin is pretty damn good because of the privacy narrative. It has an option to mask your wallet and your funds and your wallet address so that you know your receiver, when you send Litecoin, that your receiver can look up your address and find out how much Litecoin you have and you know how much you've been spending and all this other stuff. So Litecoin has that feature. It was introduced just like a year ago or 2 years ago, so it's as of this cycle. And I think Litecoin is a good contender for like a good long-term hold. Especially, you know, it is faster than Bitcoin, but it's still slow in comparison. But it's an OG, and a lot of people know about it. So if there is a shift in the market 10 years from now, I think Litecoin will be under consideration. Obviously, I think Kaspa is gonna take the crown, obviously. But Litecoin will be one of those ones that will be under consideration. Bitcoin Cash, like I said, it was good in theory, but it becomes highly decentralized. So just because of the requirement of server space to actually run a node. What stops Kaspa from reaching the same fate as Bitcoin? Miners shut down due to aggressive emission reductions. Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think the Kaspa would have that particular problem. Like the the energy, from my understanding, like I never mined Kaspa. I was doing mining like way back, like in 2014. But from my understanding, the energy consumption of Kaspa is like extremely low, and it makes it profitable to mine Kaspa. I think that's the reason why that Kaspa is more scalable. That's one of the reasons why Kaspa is more scalable than Bitcoin. So I don't think it suffers from that same problem. I could be wrong. If you have any ideas about why that might be the case, just shoot me a message or something. I'll look into it. My price target during this cycle top, if the top is 2027. Yeah, I mean, I think if we're getting a 2027 top, I think the top itself is going to be massive. I mean, just based on what a lot of the institutions are saying, that we should be getting like $1 million Bitcoin by 2030, and you know, in that area. I mean, I think it could go like over $10 a Kaspa. I think it wouldn't be unrealistic. Like, I'm just talking about meme coins they're like last cycle that went from like $1 million market cap to $1 billion. Like, why can't Kaspa go from a $2 billion market cap to, you know, 200 billion? I mean, I mean, if Bitcoin has like a 10 or 15 trillion dollar market cap, is it so unrealistic that Kaspa is going to have like a 200 billion market cap? I mean, I don't think so. I mean, it's realistic. And but yeah, I mean, those are my targets. I love the volatility. I love swing trading. I recently started swing trading some Kaspa. I never did. Usually my biggest bags, I never swing trade. I just hold them like Tangent wallets and so on. But I have 20,000 Kaspa in Kraken, and I just started swing trading it. So I figure out what can I do with it? Can I turn it to 60,000 from swing trading it? So I love the fact that things go up and down. I could keep on buying, you know, selling high and buying back in low. Yeah, Kaspa. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Litecoin is another contender. I do also want to mention this one. Linnea. Swift chooses Ethereum layer 2 to power the cross-border payments. So this is actually huge news. So I don't think we should be sleeping on Linnea. So Linnea is like one of those in my opinion, when I think about long-term holds, I think about Bitcoin, right? Even though we're talking about how it might have a demise in 10 or 15 years, but I think about Bitcoin, I think about Kaspa, I think about Litecoin, and I think about Tau. I think of long-term holds. I think this is you know what I mean, extreme long-term, 5 years, 10 years. I don't think we should be sleeping on Linnea. But you know, we'll see. And what else we got going on? Yeah. This goes out to these 4-year cycle zombies. They think we're at the end of the cycle. So Ripple's XRP impressive ETF streak continues as inflows near 900 million. So yeah, there's like nonstop bullish news everywhere, man. It's just like nonstop bullish news. Like, who on earth would think we're going to go into a 12-month bear market? It is like crazy. What is it? So NVIDIA's CEO tells Joe Rogan that the president saved AI history.
United States
in the AI industry.
If United States doesn't grow, we will have no prosperity. We can't invest in anything domestically or otherwise. We can't fix any of our problems. If we don't have energy growth, we can't have industrial growth. If we don't have industrial growth, we can't have job growth. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And the fact that he came into office and the first thing that he said was drill, baby, drill. His point is we need energy growth.
Yeah, I know a lot of people talking about an AI bubble. I think that I don't think we're going to crash anytime soon. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I think we're just going up from here, and it's going to be massive in the next couple of years. And we could have a crash, like a big one, but it could be like 2028 or something like that.
Without energy growth, we can have no industrial growth, and it saved the AI industry. I got to tell you flat out, if not for his pro-growth energy policy, we would not be able to build factories for AI. We would not be able to build chip factories. We surely won't be able to build supercomputer factories. None of that stuff would be possible. And without all of that, construction jobs will be challenged, right? Electrician jobs. All of these jobs that are now flourishing would be challenged. And so I think he's got it right. We need energy growth. We want to reindustrialize the United States. We need to be back in manufacturing. Every successful person doesn't need to have a PhD. Every successful person doesn't have to have gone to Stanford or MIT. And I think that sensibility is spot on.
Yeah. I mean, like, we have some bullish stuff out here. I mean, going on. We have this. I don't know if you guys saw this one. BlackRock CEO admits that he was wrong about crypto. This is awesome. This is epic.
Index for money laundering.
I remember that. I remember back in 2014. I remember people like crazy. I worked for many years at one of the first VPN, like personal VPN companies. And I was I was a VP, and I was trying to convince the CEO to accept payment in Bitcoin. And I was convinced that the company's going to fall behind. Like, we were pretty damn big. Like, we were one of the first. And the company's still around. I don't know if I should name it right now. The company's still around, but it's very small by comparison to some of the others. And like, eventually I found an article that said all the best personal VPN companies are now accept Bitcoin. And like, we weren't in there. And like, I was trying to convince him. He was like, Bitcoin is only for people who want to, how do they phrase it? Oh, whatever. It was the people who do bad stuff, money laundering and who are up to no good. And yeah, it was kind of nuts that back then, like, people thought about that. And then I just started buying Bitcoin here and there. Because, I believed in it, and, I wish I had bought more. I always say that. I had no idea Bitcoin was going to explode in value to this point. Here we are 10 years later. I would have probably spent like $1,000 a month at least to buy Bitcoin, and buying like, I've saw prices go down to a point of like $250. I would buy like tons of Bitcoin. But it's crazy how people thought back then. So
called crypto an index for money laundering. BlackRock
and thieves.
Yes. Money laundering and thieves.
Money laundering and thieves. That's the CEO of the company I worked at, that personal VPN. He would talk like that. An index for money laundering and thieves. And I don't know.
We'll have the biggest Bitcoin ETF. So what happened here?
And now you have the biggest Bitcoin ETF.
I have very strong views, but that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. By having strong views, you have to test yourself and ask yourself. And in my role, I see thousands of clients a year. I have governmental leaders, and we have these conversations. And my thought process always evolves. And this is a very glaring public example of a big shift, in my opinion.
Yeah. A big shift. Yeah. Well, never too late, I guess. You're doing good right now. Kaspa is our only chance for the yacht. Yeah. I don't know about that. I think we got some pretty damn good chances for that yacht. You guys, for those of you who are just joining, who never, you've never been to my channel, the primary goal of my channel, look at this. This is beautiful. This is kind of small though. It looks like a helicopter, right? The primary goal of my channel is to get a group of people, right? This is my group. Click the link in the description, right? But the primary goal of my channel is to get a group that eventually gets ourselves on a yacht and we'll be chilling and trading crypto on a pretty damn, I look for some really amazing concept yachts and so on. So we're going to be chilling on a really big yacht one day, me and my members. So that's the goal of my channel, to just find people and get us all on board on something like this. This is like, it's a beast. What the hell is this? Like, look at this. It's crazy. I figured I was looking for some really spectacular, unique, unusual yachts. So I figured, I mean, look at this. There's 2 helicopter pads right here, right? This is like a beast, man. Before I was showing some like normal looking yachts, but like, this is crazy. Like, my God, right? So that's the goal of my channel. And the reason why I say that, you know, Kaspa isn't our only chance is because, I mean, like when we, you know, there's software in my community. There's software. We have all these highly, highly advanced bots that took thousands of engineering hours to create. And a lot of people, when I don't explain it in that detail, a lot of people comment in my videos, what plugin do you have in your Discord that with those bots? I'm like, there's no goddamn plugin. It's all proprietary, man. We all made it. We made it ourselves. And, but yeah, we have these highly advanced bots. If one bot doesn't catch it, like you see here, another one will, and so on. So it's called by, you know, these are the bots. The Insider Alert is the most famous one. And they find tokens at a very low market cap and determine the ones that are going to pump to the moon, based on a whole bunch of factors. It scans the tokens, it scans their price action, it scans their activity on X, it scans what they're doing, it scans their fundraising, it scans everything you can imagine about the tokens. And it scans like thousands of them a day, right? thousands of them a day, and it's like most are garbage, right? Because all these stupid meme coins that are launched that are just, you know, shit coins that rug and, you know, after 6 hours or whatever. But yeah, I mean, in the last green month, like you give us a run up, we're gonna be like freaking flying, right? And this was last year. These are gains from last year, and we've perfected our software so much over the last year to the point where like we just had a green month in September. You know, September, October was absolutely wild, absolutely wild. It was just a green month. It wasn't a run up. It was just like a I consider a pre-run up, some like pre-run up action, because obviously we were expecting a good run up end of the year, but you know, the government shutdown changed all that for us. But we were starting to run pretty damn good. We did 130x on de-aging AI, and you know, we did the 550x on MYX. MYX was like, got it back in May, and it just exploded in September. De-aging AI, it took about a month for us to get to that 130x. And one of some of the good things, especially with Giggle, Giggle Fund did that 30x. De-aging AI did that 130x, but it was going up and down. It was going up, exploding like de-aging AI. It would go up, do like a 30x, and it would come back down. So it would go up, we take profits. Come back down, we buy back in. It go up, same thing with Giggle Fund. Go up, you take profits. Come back down, buy back in. And it's just increasing the size of our bag. So, I mean, if you can do that over and over again, and then rotate your earnings out to another one, and then it does that over and over again, it won't be, you know, through the magic of you know, compounding. It's just doing that over and over again. It won't be long before you're it won't be long before you get onto something like this. I mean, like, dead serious. I mean, if you can 100x, it was 100x by 100x. You know, I mean, how else can you describe it? It's so yeah, click the link in the description below. As I haven't really talked about it at all this live stream, right? I was just talking about all this other stuff with Kaspa, but click the link in the description below. Not only for these highly advanced bots to get in early, because we're sitting on, I mean, it's like we're sitting on like 50 to 100 of them, 100 tokens right now in my community. We're trading a lot of them. And like there are like 100 of them, I would say, 100 of them are at least going to 10x. I mean, out of those 100 of them. And there's probably 20 of them are going to do more than 100x, you know, and then maybe the top 5 or so are going to get beyond a 500x or 1000x. But you never know which one is going to do more than the other one. Like I didn't know DHNEI was going to be the one that popped to 130x in October. Same thing. Like I didn't know if MYX was going to do that 550x in September. I was surprised. So, you know, what if we get into a run up in January and everything is pumping again? What if like DHNEI doubles this all-time high? So that's like, instead of 130x, you got a 260x, right? You got 1000x on MYX. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, click the link in the description below if you want to be in on some of that action. It's absolutely amazing. Not only that, you can actually log into this website as a member. So it's not only when you go into the WAP, right? You join through WAP, and you know, I got a getting started course. If you want to learn about everything, all the mistakes I made and everything I do and everything I don't do, I got a getting started course. You get access to the Discord where we have those highly advanced bots and all those channels. And you can also log into this website where we have swing trading software. So when we, you know, sell high and buy back in low, we have software that helps us tell us when it's a good idea to buy back in low. And we have all these strategies. So we've been in like this one, Pippin. Let me tell you about Pippin. Pippin be pimping, right? Right, guys? Whoever's in my community, there's some people in my community that are like buying this thing, like swing trading this thing like crazy. And this is like this crazy anomaly. When I'm talking about, look at this. Like, look at this. It's like we keep going up and down, up and down, up and down, selling high, buying. We're going like $1,000. Just like, it's just crazy. Just like from starting off with a few bucks. Just up and down, up and down. It's at $165 million market cap. It is an anomaly. It is an anomaly because I was just talking about Fefe, but it has an insane amount of centralized exchanges, right? And then just to show you, I'm going to show you guys my community, right? And one of the reasons, where's Pippin? So just to show you some of the tech we got in my community that no other community has, right? I'm going to show you the Pippin, a Pippin be pimpin'. All right, this is, so what we got right here in the Discord, we got channels where we monitor the centralized exchanges of our tokens. So Pippin itself for me has been an anomaly because their profile, their X profile is went dead in August. Let me see if they posted recently. Yeah, they went dead in August. But they're still crazy active. As you can see here, this is where my community comes in handy, right? Because we can see that they're getting new centralized exchanges, and they've been getting centralized exchanges, right? Okay, they went dead in August, but they got Biconomy just in November. They got BTCC, again, November 27th. They got Bilaxi, November 30th. They got, what is it, Jew.com. What is that, JU? I don't know. Jew. And then on December 2nd, then we just got Grovex just this morning, like we know exactly when our tokens are getting centralized exchanges. So we're like, okay, why is, we're like on the X profile and we're like, it's dead, but they're like, why is it pumping? And we're like, oh, this is why it's pumping. Like all of this right here, this is why it's pumping. So when you get in my community, you get some of the best tech you can ever imagine, right? There's no other community out there that has anything like this. So you get a group of highly skilled engineers, me and my buddies, we're all ex-FANG, like I've worked at Apple, things like that. So we're all ex-FANG, and we could build some pretty damn good software. It's not like we hired somebody in India, paid him $500 to put a plugin into the Discord. That's what people think sometimes, but no, it's nothing like that. So, you know, when it comes back to that yacht, man, yeah, we're going to get that yacht. I don't see any reason why not. I just don't see how, based on what we've been doing and the successes we've had, man, I don't know how it's, we're on to something grand. I mean, totally. So, and one of the other benefits of my community, I always like to point out with Farcoin, right? We have a channel that we get a report once a day, every day. And some of them I don't even call. And I have other members that review the report and they buy into their coins. And I thought Farcoin initially was kind of stupid. So I didn't buy it in at the bottom when it was called by the insider alert. And I had other members that got it. They got an 86X. You know, I had members that make tens of thousands of dollars on Farcoin, even though I didn't call it, right? My bot called it. I had something like this recently with another token that I didn't play, but somebody just like yesterday or the day before, somebody in the community was talking about, hey, they got in and it's really pumping. I was like, oh, wow, I didn't play it, but it looked pretty good. Looked pretty damn good. So yeah, click the link in the description below. If you want all that tech, if you want all those calls, if you want, I don't know, if you want some help, you can contact me directly. I set up this recently. This VIP membership is like a lower tier. So basically my premium members get everything, you know, that I have to offer, no limitations, and they can DM me. And I get into a lot of conversations with a lot of my members. And then I was like, this is like a Black Friday special where I got VIP for like a lower tier where you still get everything, but you just don't have direct access to me. So I'm probably going to have this open just for the month of December, because I think in the long run, let's say I got like 100 members right now, but in the long run, I get 200, 300, 400 members. If I have everybody contacting me over DM, it's just going to be way too overwhelming. So I'm going to have to, you know, separate that. Like maybe the monthly would be like, you know, 150 a month, 200 a month, you know, be like some of these other guys who cost, you know, who charge a lot of money to be in their community. And then I'll have like a lower tier, you know, would be less. But speaking of that, some of these other creators, man, you know, they have these communities, they charge like $150, $200, and they rug their communities, or they have hardly any good calls. And it's crazy. It's like, what's the point? I'm like way cheaper and I have like nonstop good calls, right? So it's crazy. Good morning, Kaspa crew. Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, you actually. Apparently, I'm asking you a question right now. VIP and yeah, that's just it. It's just that. Yeah, I just wanted to have like a lower level price. So if you, just for people to get in and take advantage of all that I have to offer, and you just don't get access to DM me. That's just it. So it's like a special right now. But I imagine, let's say in the future, a year from now, let's say I have like 400 members. I think, you know, maybe VIP might be 150. I'm sorry, premium might be like $150, $200, and then VIP would be like $50 or $75 less, or $100 less, or whatever it is. I don't know, but I have to figure it out. And but yeah, I'm like the prices are way cheaper than some of these other guys out there. And like some of these other guys, there's some good calls, some groups that are good out there. They have good calls and their members are making money, but they have only like one call every 2 months or something, like once a month, or hardly any other new calls. And then sometimes the calls are about tokens that everybody already knows about. Like for example, I called recently Zora, ZBCN, and Moonwell, but everybody already knows about that. So I'm not going to go over here and start touting it. You know, I'm going to be like, dude, I called NYX at a 6 million market cap and it pumped to 3 billion and I did a 550X. That's what I'm going to tout, right? Because nobody else knew about NYX at 6 million market cap. They only started knowing about it when it passed $1 billion. We're like, dude, I call it at 6 million, right? But a lot of these other groups, they have some good calls that are relatively good, but some of them are still calls that everybody already knows about. So what's the point of touting that? Like my group, you get in really early. And I can tout some of it, like DHNAI. I got in a launch date. Got into Disco at a 70K market cap, right? You were stacking that in the first couple of weeks. I saw it when it launched, and we're stacking it. We wrote it up to over 3 million to the 38X, Matt Furious Disco. You know, same thing with Tutorial and BNB. And, you know, did a 94X. And I was swing trading this bad boy like crazy too, right? Using my software that's available to my members on my website. So, yeah, guys. A couple months ago? No, I was at $40 a month. I think it was probably like July. I think it was like July, right? Yeah. I was at $40 a month. It was because, it was because of this. I mean, it's obvious. People were telling me that my prices are like so cheap. And it's like compared to other YouTubers that don't have anything like this, you know, that don't have any calls like this. I mean, it's crazy, you know. Hoppy was an amazing call last year. Turbo was one of those things I got in really early. But yeah, when it comes to Farcoin Nero, this is Dasha. Peanut was amazing, right? Oh my God. But yeah, I was like way cheaper earlier on in the year. And I was like, we're doing stuff like this, you know, like this Trash Coin, the Agent AI. We're doing stuff like this. And then no other community is doing stuff like this. And yet I charge like 1/5 or even less than what they charge. It's crazy, right? Kaspa. Yeah. Anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much it. How long have we been going, man? Jesus Christ. Over an hour. So click that link in the description below if you want to get in on some of this action. And realistically, you really need to get in right now, because if you want to get in and start buying up some of these tokens that we have in my community that do stuff like this, we were going to be getting in at the bottom. So it's a good time to get in right now. You don't want to wait until we start pumping. Like, let's say 3 weeks from now, we start that run up that we've been waiting for, right? We break above the 50-week moving average and we actually get started, right? You don't want to get in at that time. You want to get in like right now. So it would be like, imagine you got on my group back in April, and then I called, you know, NYX, you know, and you got in at a really low market cap, and then it explodes like 5 months later. So be a good idea to get in now. Would it be wise to swing trade out of Toshi if it's going to be more red in the next couple of months? Are you talking about rotate out of Toshi? I mean, I do recommend swing trading, but yeah, totally. That's what we do all the time. Just if Toshi has a pump, you sell, right? And then in my software, in my community, you track it. You track your sell price, and then it'll tell you when it's a good time to buy back in. Or if it keeps pumping, and it'll tell you, you know, that you can sell in like another 10%. So you sell in small chunks. You know, don't sell your whole bag, right, or something, right? Because you sell your whole bag and the thing keeps pumping another 100%. And I was like, what do you do? Now you can't buy back in because your sell price is like so far, you know, below what the price is. The price is never going to come back down, and you're never going to make a profit. So you sell 10%, or maybe 20%. Feeling brave, 20% or 30%, but you keep selling. And it'll based on the conditions and based on how much the pump is and so on. But yeah, I mean, Toshi has a small pump, you sell a little bit. If it has a small pump again, before you buy back in, you sell a little bit more. Then it comes back down. And then like the software in my community will tell you, you know, it's a good time to buy in because, you know, it's your sell price is like 30% above current price. So yeah, it'll tell you something like that. And then you buy back in, and then you end up with more Toshi in your bag, with more tokens in your bag. So you're selling, you take that dollar value, and the price of the token goes back down. You use the same dollar value. to buy back in, and you end up with more tokens. So you end up with a bigger bag. You can like 3x, 4x your bag just from doing that over and over again. So when you get that 100x in the long run, you spend $1,000, you get that 100x in the long run, and, well, you expect 100,000, right? But no, what if you've been swing trading at the bottom and you 3x your bag? So instead of $100,000, you got $300,000. So it'll be something like that. All that available in my community. I'm going to go because my throat is getting dry. I will catch you guys later.
Code Monkey, Code Monkey.